What if I told you that your most meaningful conversations probably happened when everything went completely off the rails? You know those moments when you planned to talk about work, but somehow ended up discussing your childhood fears, quantum physics, and whether pineapple belongs on pizza all in the same breath? Most people think these chaotic exchanges are distractions or failures of communication. But today, I'm going to show you why they might actually be the secret ingredient to building the deepest human connections possible. Think about your closest friendships for a moment. I bet if you trace back to how those bonds formed, you'll find conversations that meandered like a drunk GPS trying to find its way home. There's something magical that happens when we abandon the script of polite small talk and let our minds wander together through unexpected territory. Traditional communication advice tells us to stay on topic, organize our thoughts, and deliver clear messages. But what if this approach is actually keeping us from experiencing the most profound forms of human connection? What if chaos isn't the enemy of good conversation, but rather its most powerful catalyst? Let me paint you a picture of what I mean by chaotic conversation. Imagine you're having coffee with a friend, and you start talking about your new job. Suddenly, something they say reminds you of a documentary you watched about octopuses. Before you know it, you're both debating whether animals have emotions, sharing stories about your childhood pets, and somehow landing on a philosophical discussion about what makes life meaningful. By the end, you both feel energized, understood, and closer than when you started, even though you never resolved the original topic about work. This isn't accidental magic. There's actual psychology behind why these seemingly random conversational journeys create such strong bonds between people. When we allow conversations to flow naturally without rigid structure, we're essentially creating a shared exploration space where both participants can reveal authentic parts of themselves. The first reason chaotic conversations work so well is because they bypass our social defenses. When we stick to predictable topics like weather or current events, we operate from our social personas, those carefully constructed versions of ourselves that we present to the world. But when a conversation takes an unexpected turn, we often respond more authentically because we haven't had time to craft the perfect response. These unguarded moments reveal our real personalities, creating opportunities for genuine connection. Consider how different you feel when someone asks you a standard question like, "How was your weekend?" versus when they unexpectedly ask something like, "If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be, and what would you want to argue with them about?" The second question demands authentic engagement and often leads to revelations about values, interests, and experiences that standard questions never uncover. Chaotic conversations also tap into what psychologists call cognitive resonance. When two minds explore ideas together without a predetermined path, they create synchronized thinking patterns. You've probably experienced this when you and someone else simultaneously arrive at the same random thought, or when you find yourselves building on each other's ideas in ways that surprise you both. This mental synchronization releases neurochemicals associated with bonding and pleasure, literally making us feel good about the interaction. But here's where it gets really interesting. Chaotic conversations mirror the way our brains actually work. Despite what we might think, human consciousness isn't linear or organized. Our minds constantly make associations, jump between topics, and connect seemingly unrelated concepts. When we engage in free-flowing dialogue, we're essentially allowing our natural thought processes to guide the interaction, which feels inherently comfortable and familiar. This explains why some of your most memorable conversations probably happen during long car rides, late-night talks, or other situations where time felt suspended and topics could evolve organically. Without the pressure to be efficient or productive, these conversations became playgrounds for genuine human connection. Now, you might be thinking that this sounds great in theory, but how do you actually foster these kinds of conversations in real life? The key isn't to force chaos, but to create conditions where it can emerge naturally. Start by asking questions that invite storytelling rather than simple answers. Instead of, "What do you do for work?" try, "What's the most interesting problem you're trying to solve right now?" These open-ended invitations give people permission to take the conversation in unexpected directions. Another powerful technique is what I call conversational scaffolding. When someone mentions something intriguing, build on it rather than redirecting back to your original point. If they say something about feeling overwhelmed, instead of offering immediate advice, explore that feeling with them. Ask about what overwhelm feels like in their body. or whether they remember the first time they felt that way. These follow-up questions often lead to surprising revelations and deeper understanding. The magic of chaotic conversations also lies in their ability to create shared vulnerability. When we abandon conversational scripts, we often end up sharing things we didn't plan to reveal. This mutual vulnerability creates what researchers call reciprocal disclosure, where each person's openness encourages the other to be equally authentic. It's like emotional ping pong, where each serve builds trust and intimacy. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of chaotic conversations is how they model acceptance and curiosity. When you follow someone's random tangent about their weird hobby or childhood memory, you're demonstrating that all parts of them are worth exploring. This kind of unconditional interest is rare in our efficiency-focused world, making it incredibly powerful when it occurs. Of course, chaotic conversations aren't appropriate for every situation. Business meetings, emergency discussions, and other goal-oriented communications require structure and focus. But in our personal relationships, embracing conversational chaos can unlock levels of connection that structured dialogue rarely achieves. Think about the conversations you remember most fondly. Were they the ones where you efficiently covered predetermined topics, or were they the wandering discussions that took you on unexpected journeys? Chances are, your most cherished conversational memories involve moments when you discovered something new about someone you care about, or when you explored ideas together without knowing where you'd end up. The next time you find yourself in a conversation that starts drifting off topic, resist the urge to steer it back on course. Instead, follow the current and see where it leads. Pay attention to how it feels when you allow your mind to make unexpected connections with another person. Notice how these moments of shared exploration create a unique intimacy that structured conversations rarely achieve. In our increasingly digital world, where communications are often reduced to bullet points and emoji reactions, the art of chaotic conversation becomes even more precious. These meandering dialogues remind us that human connection isn't about efficiently exchanging information, but about exploring the beautiful complexity of each other's minds. So here's my challenge for you. This week, practice embracing conversational chaos. When someone takes a discussion in an unexpected direction, follow them there with genuine curiosity. Ask questions that invite stories rather than facts. Share random thoughts that pop into your head instead of keeping them to yourself. Notice how these small changes transform your interactions from simple exchanges into adventures of mutual discovery. Because at the end of the day, the conversations that change us aren't the ones that go according to plan. They're the ones that surprise us, challenge us, and remind us that the human experience is beautifully, chaotically, wonderfully unpredictable. And maybe that's exactly why we need them more than ever.
This was The Eye Behind the Curtain. If something clicked, sit with it. This channel doesn't diagnose, it observes.